All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to 1Million Cups Daytona Beach. My name is Chris Steffen. I'm one of the volunteer organizers, and I'm joined by a bunch of other organizers. Guys, please raise your hand if you're an organizer. Round of applause, please, for the organizers. We are a strictly volunteer-led effort. We are a product of the Kauffman Foundation out of Kansas City, Missouri, and right now, in over 170 communities around the country, our 1 Million Cups meetups taking place. So we are part of something much bigger than just here in Daytona Beach. We always have a great turnout here, usually average around 45 in attendance. Any first timers here this morning? Welcome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Typically the way it works is after the intro, we have the guest speaker come up, and then we do a Q&A session where you guys can ask some questions and find out some more information about what they're doing. Maybe offer some advice, and then after that, we do some announcements and we wrap things up. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Melissa Kiel, and she is the owner of EOB CrossFit and Chef RX, two great companies. I'm really excited today because we get to talk about food and exercising, two things I enjoy, kind of opposite ends of the spectrum there, food and exercising, but in this case, they go really well together. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Melissa.
Thank you all very much for that warm welcome. This is my first time here at 1 Million Cups. This is the first experience that I've had with this type of thing, actually. I'd like to first tell you guys, sorry. Okay. So I'd like to tell you guys a little bit about my journey as what I like to call an accidental business owner. Do I have any more of those here? People who accidentally became an entrepreneur? Donnie's Donuts, right? I think I recognize you. Okay, so EOB CrossFit was my first entrepreneurial experience. And it actually started about 12 years ago, and I was a much different person than I am right now. I was actually not in any kind of good shape, I would say. I was just generally getting a little bit more unhealthy and unhappy every year. Was suffering from a real lack of accomplishment in my life, not really a whole lot going on. And then, as life happens, I became pregnant with my son, which was a huge life change for me, and immediately it was kind of awesome because that lack of accomplishment was gone. And I had this replacement of this big pressure to perform. But also, adding to the fact that I had a lot of lack of accomplishment, taking antidepressants and anxiety medications just because I felt very unhappy, I kind of realized those were really unnecessary. But with that pregnancy came 60 pounds of extra body weight. And that really kind of added to my frustration. And I knew that my first order of business was to handle that, so to get feeling good again. And that's when I found CrossFit. Is anyone else here already familiar with CrossFit? Okay, so we have a lot of hands, actually. Back in 2005, when all this was going down, CrossFit was just kind of a little blip on the fitness radar. And once I found this thing called CrossFit, a year later, I was completely different. I had lost all 60 pounds and then some. And in its place, I had gained a lot of muscle and strength. But most importantly, my mental capacity to be able to handle life was completely different. I felt extremely empowered, and I was a completely different looking and mental state, completely different. I could stand up here all day and tell you guys hundreds of stories like that of people like myself and people much different from myself who have experienced that same type of thing in a short period of time with the CrossFit movement. But instead of doing that, since this is a business situation, right, and I know business people like stats, here we go. We got 2005, a little shortly before I found out about CrossFit, there were 13 CrossFit affiliates, so CrossFit gyms in, I believe, just the United States at this time. CrossFit in 2005, 13 affiliates. Fast forward to now in 2018, we're sitting around 30,000 CrossFit affiliates in 120 countries worldwide. That's extreme amounts of growth for something. I couldn't find a really good visual chart, but just to compare this to the growth of health clubs like Gold's Gym and others, It is not even close, okay? So what is it about CrossFit that has caused this? And there's a lot of reasons why. The business model is completely different from other health clubs. But instead of going into that part of it, I really just want to use my experience with CrossFit to talk to you about where I went to next. Just give you an idea, 30,000 CrossFit affiliates in the world, that's more locations than Starbucks has in just the United States. There's something about it. And what I think that is that it's a necessity. So right now in the United States, I don't think anyone will argue with me that healthcare is a big issue. Things, in my opinion, are completely backwards. Does anyone know the number one leading cause of death in the U.S.? Heart disease, right? Most people know that. Chronic disease accounts for 70% of the deaths in the U.S. right now. Chronic disease being number one, heart disease, stroke, diabetes. Chronic disease is caused by two things. There is a genetic aspect to some of it, but it's caused by lack or poor nutrition, poor nutrition, and a sedentary lifestyle. Right now, everything is moving closer to a sedentary lifestyle, right? We're working more and we're more productive due to this rise in technology. Things move really fast. People want things really fast, and they don't do a lot of work to get things like they used to. A lot of this is done kind of sitting, right? So sedentary lifestyle is becoming more and more prevalent here in the US, and poor nutrition is also something that's really supported by our food industry. So we're really fighting that, and I really see a necessity for CrossFit. And the reason why is because I believe that CrossFit is a really simple prescription for wellness. It's a non-medical form of healthcare, in my opinion. So here's the really easy, really simple prescription. I'm gonna give you the secret to my 60-pound loss. I'm gonna give you the secret to my complete mental turnaround, and it can be explained to you in just 100 words. There it is, 100 words. This is Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit. He has boiled down his entire life's work of programming and coming up with the way to become really fit. It's here, right here. So here we go. Eat meats and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. Keep intake to levels that will support exercise and not body fat. So immediately, we've addressed, very simply, the problem of poor nutrition. What to eat and how much to eat. Very simple, right? And then the next thing it talks about is an answer to a sedentary lifestyle. It says to practice and train major lifts, deadlifts, clean, squat, presses, clean and jerk, and snatch. Similarly, master the basics of gymnastics, pull-ups, push-ups, dips, rope climbs, sit-ups, presses to handstand, pirouettes, flips, and holds, bike, run, swim, row, and etc., hard and fast. So it's talking about how to exercise, and then how often, 5 or 6 days per week. Mix these elements in as many combinations and patterns as creativity will allow. And here we're attesting to a lifestyle of these things by saying that we need to do these creatively. We need to do them without routine. We need to constantly be doing these things 5 to 6 days per week. We need to keep the workout short and intense, which is great news for you guys because you're busy. And then also we need to regularly learn, which you guys all know, and play new sports. So taking all these ideas and making them into a lifestyle. 100 words, very simple, guaranteed. It is the thing that I did and many others, this big growth of CrossFit. This is the very simple prescription that is being given for health and fitness. And more than that, extreme genetic potential type of fitness, okay? So I just said it was simple. And a lot of you guys are looking up there and saying, wait a minute, flips, splits, and rope climbs. Not simple. So it's simple, but it's not easy. I can guarantee you that year of my life with an infant and losing 60 pounds of weight was not easy, but it absolutely was simple, and this was my answer. So this was my aha moment. This is when I knew, absolutely, I must take this and give it to everybody that I can. And that's when I became an accidental business owner. So here we are now. When I first started this, what I wanted to do was take and change my community, make an environment that would facilitate positive change. As we said before, health clubs and restaurants and grocery stores now in society are really not set up to support this type of lifestyle. So the first order of business for us is to make a place that would facilitate these changes. So you're looking at the gym as it kind of sits today. When it first started, it actually started in just my home garage. I had absolutely no capital, absolutely zero business experience. All I had was a lot of passion and desire to change people's lives for the better. So here we are. The next thing, and probably the biggest labor of love, was to create a team, to take the things that I had learned and to take the success that I had created for myself and help other people to do that. And I did that first by creating a team that would then reach out to more people in the community. And you can see now that we're, I think currently we're at about 170 active members that we see on a regular basis, and that they come in for about an hour a day, where we have an hour to really instill these ideas and beliefs and nurture this idea of CrossFit and positive life change. And here we are, this is a part of my team, a couple of, you can see a class in action here. But creating a team was probably one of the toughest things for me to do, and if you have a team, you know what that's about. Definitely very rewarding. So going back to the drawing board all the time when I'm trying to expand this business, trying to reach more people, to me, expansion is creating more results and more people and more diversifying of these people that we're able to influence. And you can see here, I like to consider myself a special populations person in the gym. Sickness is preventable, so we want to start with the kids. With CrossFit Kids program, I believe that if we start at a very early age, they might instill these habits that will keep them through to the age where we have, this is my oldest member here, someone that we maybe want to start reversing some immobility issues in. Jack actually happens to be, this is Jack, he's 91 years old. He attends the gym currently once a week. He has a caretaker who has to take him to the gym because he can't see very well. And then I mostly have to follow him around and make sure that he's safe, which I have to do with everybody there, so it's really not that big of a difference. And Jack is, I don't tell anyone, he's one of my favorites. So here we are with a preventative and reversibility factor that we're looking for in the gym. So as I'm still always trying to find more ways to help people become fitter, I go back to the basic training that CrossFit has given me. This is called the hierarchy of needs chart that we see a lot in CrossFit. This bottom section here, you can see in the blue, the basis of all fitness, according to CrossFit and our methodology, is nutrition. This is the one thing that I was finding was not really present in the gym. We get these people for 1 hour a day, but they have 23 other hours where they're responsible for their health care. And nutrition is the basis of that. And we know that the environment outside the gym and even inside the gym is not addressing that. So this is where we went next, which brings me to where I am today in this business, where I've added the nutrition component and where we are now. So enter second accidental business. These are my accidental partners. I wish they could be here with me today. This is Chef Kevin Alexander. Kevin was already a part of the membership of East Ormond Beach CrossFit. He was making a lot of positive life changes for himself and also for his family. Kevin and I became fast friends because I absolutely love food and love talking about food, and so does he. He's a very creative chef. He was at the time working at some really great restaurants in Ormond as the head chef, but really looking to do something more and to really exercise his creativity with food, but also make changes, positive changes in people's lives. So that's what started with Kevin. Kevin came in one day to the gym, dressed in full chef's uniform, and stood inside of our small kitchenette where we fill up water bottles and said, you know what we need to do? We need to start one of these meal prep businesses with this CrossFit idea of nutrition in mind. And that's when I became an accidental business owner the second time. So Kevin and I banded together. And then Ms. Maggie Nugent, also a part of my team. She's already a coach and personal trainer for EOB, and also just really influencing people. She tells everybody she meets about CrossFit and really just wants to change people's lives and support them to do great things. She is she was working part-time for Harvard Business School, which is kind of great for me since I have no business experience. She might have maybe a little. So teaching assistant for Harvard, and just really looking to become maybe a more vested part of the gym and what we were doing on our mission. So the three of us have banded together, and about 2.5 years ago, we began the testing phase for this meal prep company idea that Kevin had kind of brought to our attention. And that's when we came up with the idea of Chef RX. So that RX is the idea of eating in a prescribed way, CrossFit's prescribed way of eating for health and fitness. And the chef piece, because we have this really great chef, the idea was to make these meals something that people were excited about. So here what you see, this is our turkey eggplant lasagna. It's it's amazing. It's one of the favorites. You can see that it's compliant to our idea and our food philosophy that we have collected from CrossFit, which you've had just a small introduction to. But the good news is you don't need to know everything that there is to know about nutrition and healthy eating. It's given to you in this perfect little package. Throughout the entire time trying to get people inside of my gym to eat properly, I could teach, I could show, I could lead by example, but every time I just wanted to package up this most perfect meal that they would love and just put it in their mouth. And I just felt like that was the way to do it. And not only that, but I just wanted it to be really present inside of the gym, that when you walk in, you're also thinking about the other things you need to do for health and fitness, recovery, and food. And so as the testing phase went through, Kevin set to work just finding meals that would kind of excite people, but also fit the profile of a prescribed eating meal, coming up with things such as this. And as it progressed and things were going really well, we decided, with a lot of creativity, a little bit of help from our landlord, and also, again, no capital, just kind of drawing on my experience from starting the CrossFit gym, we built out a kitchen inside the gym. So you can see it during its building phase. A lot of our members were a little confused, not really understanding what was happening in the one side of the gym. And then you can see it today with the pickup window. And you can see this is the entrance to the gym. You have to enter through this door here. They have to walk right past a refrigerator, all lit up, full of extremely healthy food that they can walk by and grab and warm up in the microwave, go home, feed their family, feed themselves, and know that they did, not only did they come in and they moved well, they're also leaving with healthy, recovery-friendly food. And they're not getting sicker, right? So that's what's happening. We walk in and we walk out past the food. So there was the presence that we were looking for, and the ease and the help that we think that will help facilitate at least just our members at EOD CrossFit to be a little bit better about their nutrition. Most of our members are using this service in some kind of a way. Currently, chef-rx.com is where most of the business takes place. We pre-order currently the meals a week ahead of time, most of them. They can go onto the website each Monday. 6 new meals, different types of, for 6 different menu items are posted. They're usually acceptable for either lunch or dinner or both. You order, the ordering period Monday through Wednesday, and it's available for pickup or delivery on the following Monday. Currently we're kind of just working in our direct gym community and in Ormond Beach, but also looking now that we're kind of off and rolling, looking to expand our delivery services out past Ormond. So we have delivery with pickup, and we also do a lot of catering. Throughout the years owning this business, I've had a lot of members come up to me and ask for references or ideas on ways to healthfully feed their people for their events or parties. And this was a really good answer. Usually it was Kevin, would say, Chef Kevin, I got somebody who needs some healthy food, and it's kind of just part of it. And now we're just working on ways to make that a really easy thing to do, to easily and quickly order healthy food for your office or for your family or for your parties. So these are currently the ways that we're making money on this now. It's going really well within the community of our gym. What I'm needing to and hoping to do now is to extend my influence past the gym. I have really good communication and a reach within inside my little bubble. And inside, and even Ormond Beach, I've been pretty good, able to reach some people and get this idea out there. But it is a little bit of a struggle for me. With CrossFit, that wildfire was really working in my favor. People were coming to me searching for CrossFit. I am the only CrossFit affiliate in Ormond Beach. There are a few others in Volusia County, but it's close by, and anyone in Ormond looking for CrossFit, it's usually pretty easy for them to find me. Meal prep services are popping up everywhere, all different types of ways that people are able to get help with fast, easy nutrition. Some of which you have to cook them yourself. Some of them are already packaged just like this. Some of them get delivered. Some of them are even mailing their food. There's a lot of it going on, and to be quite honest with you, we plan to just keep following that need. How can we help? And we want to start with our local community. So we really do want to assist CrossFit, that global movement of CrossFit, and moving our society's health in a different direction. We want to continue with that. A lot of times I kind of look at some of these other businesses that are doing similar things, and their focus is really on the bottom line, which sometimes looks to me like the personal touch and the support and all the quality that goes into it and the desire to really help someone sometimes goes to the wayside. And what I really want to do is to continue to move slowly in the direction of facilitating positive life change and not heading toward that idea of the bottom line and how to feed more people more food instead of trying to help people to come to results and fix things in their life. So that's why I'm here today, is to ask for help, ideas. I'm looking for ideas. I'm looking for ways I can help. I'm looking for, honestly, I think the whole for me is marketing. Like I said, in CrossFit, people kind of came to me. And I don't have a lot of experience, and I don't think my partners really do either, in how to reach beyond what we already have. So that's why we're here today, is to tell you guys about this, to try to create a little bit more awareness of what we're doing there, and also to help on how we can extend our reach.
All right, that was wonderful. We are going to make you use this one for answers, but we're going to do some questions real quick, okay? All right. Well, you look like you're very seriously wanting to ask that question.
Hi, Lori McMullen. I'm with Conklin Center for the Blind, and I love this kind of service. I used to order from John Ward when that was available. I was super excited to hear about this. My lifestyle is that I live in Ormond, but I work in Daytona Beach. And meetings can pop up. My schedule is not always my own. We're trying to work on that. So, at least when I looked at it, I wasn't necessarily going to be able to pick it up on a certain time frame, or I think, if I'm understanding correctly, you had to be home when it was delivered. Have you all looked at logistics for busy working people who are trying to be everywhere at once?
Yes, definitely. Getting the food to people is definitely one of the things that's a little bit tough. We have a few different things that we're working on. I think I told someone earlier, now that we are trying to reach a little bit past Ormond, we have an option for anyone who's ordering 5 or more meals. There doesn't need to be a subscription or anything like that. 5 or more meals we're willing to take all as far as Port Orange on a weekly basis. We can meet someone at their home or their business. Really all that's needed is somewhere to refrigerate, either a cooler or a refrigerator at your office if you bring it to your office. It is a little bit of an issue right now, making sure that's coordinated. It is a big time-consuming thing for me. I don't know if I want to leave food behind in coolers, but I have before, as long as I had pretty good rapport with the customer and I knew that they were going to get what they needed and it was going to be safe for them to eat.
I like that option when John had it.
Yes. So it is an option, and I like to be, that's personally one of my biggest parts of this business, is to coordinate with the customer and make sure that I can get them their food and have it get to them cold and safe and still in good quality. So there are options for that for sure. Meeting you at your place of business or leaving it behind is definitely something we can talk about.
Melissa, my name is Bob Chor, and I'm with Paradigm Strategies International. We do success consulting, trying to help people make a mental shift of paradigm in their heads, okay? Which is what you're trying to do by educating people. I have a suggestion for you to consider as to how to help Most of this is education. And most people, they don't realize what's happening, and because things are so easy, we order things online, we sit down, we're in desk and so on. I suggest perhaps going to schools, because the number one problem here is the mindset and the obesity that's happening in our children, okay? And a lot of it is by culture. You know, if you're a certain culture, you might eat beans, you might eat spaghetti, you might eat any number of things. Oh, and those things become part of the family tradition. But those things also add to the obesity. So if you go to a school and try to bring the education to the younger children, go through the school program, you might help change that mindset real early in the stage so that they don't get to have the problems that they have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a great suggestion.
Yeah, that was good, Bob.
Hey Melissa, Michelle at Space Coast. Great presentation, love your stuff. It's funny the comment that you did saying where our world is shifting. I immediately thought of WALL-E. I don't know if you guys have all seen WALL-E, where they're all just floating around and they have their TVs in front of them, Slurpees in front of them, and that's where the world is going. So with that reality though, I think kind of like what he said, educating people, putting it in their face, like this is where our culture is going, and just kind of making it more relevant that this is important. It's just like medication or whatnot. So finding places to be in those environments to educate people, I think will kind of drive that home to them. So just a suggestion in finding those environments. Because here it just like hits me in the gut. I'm like, I need to do this, but again, you get back into your routines and you just forget about the importance of it.
I love that, and I actually love the idea of WALL-E. It's actually one of the things I remember most about that movie is that scene of them riding around drinking soda and that whole thing. So to combine your idea of teaching children, that would be what a great visual that would be to show to the child about how technology and sedentary lifestyles might end up. So thank you.
Morning, Melissa, Tom, Jordan. I was wondering, can Uber Eats or other food delivery service handle your logistics issues?
That's an amazing question, and I did a little tiny, very preliminary bit of research on that, and I think I kind of stopped on that track only because of the ordering, just the current situation that we're in with our business, the time availability and the way that the ordering is a week ahead of time. That's the problem that I guess I'm having with that type of service, but it doesn't mean that it's not something that might be possible. I guess I just need to be a little bit more familiar with those services. I also kind of thought about not Uber Eats or something like that, but maybe just delegating or outsourcing some of the delivery idea eventually down the road. So it's definitely a great place to keep looking for sure.
Good morning, Cynthia Wynn from Prosperian Life. My question is, are your meals affordable, and are you targeting the people that is not that healthy and who cannot purchase your food? I want to know about that because that's one of the highest demand for them, to convert them or transform them to be healthy, even though they don't have that much money.
Gotcha. Okay, so the pricing of the meals, we have to keep in mind that part of the service that we're paying for is the is ease. So that will drive the price a little bit higher. The packaging is going to drive the price a little bit higher, but we're keeping these meals around the $10 a meal range. When I think about that from a perspective of other demographics, am I trying to appeal to people who are already having a hard time purchasing healthy food? I don't know if that's the case. I would consider this to be a necessity, healthcare, but I wouldn't consider someone pre-packaging and cooking each meal for you to be a necessity. So maybe a little bit more of a luxury pricing type of idea, but also trying to keep that pricing to where this can be something that you can use often is kind of where we are with pricing. Hopefully that answers your question.
Hi, right here, pink jacket. Hard to miss. Alex Sinek, Signature Real Estate. Have you thought about doing like a membership, setting up something like that so that you have a good base of people already that are subscribing to your service? You know, like there's all kinds of other companies out there that do that type of thing, where you sign up and then, you know, you get delivered a certain amount of food, and have you thought about that?
Membership, not specifically thinking of the idea of membership. We have been doing a lot of looking for corporate partnerships. I work with a couple of larger companies where people are stuck in one place all day and are sometimes take lunch breaks together, and they're all looking to kind of move in a more healthful direction. And that's another solution to some of this delivery stuff. I'll deliver to an entire group, to their office refrigerator, some of this stuff, which does kind of a membership feel to it, I guess. But I'm not sure I ever really thought about a membership type of situation, aside from a subscription. We do have options right now on the website where you can subscribe to, say, 10 meals per week to have delivered. I do have a lot of subscribers right now who have kind of got into this. It's really helping them, and they're taking their, I call it work week food. They have lunch and dinner, 10 meals for their 5 work days, and then they fend for themselves on the other days. And that tends to be pretty nice because it's an expectancy for them. They expect to have their meals cooked for them, and they know that's something they've checked off their list, and that seems to be working really well.
Back here.
Hey there, Donald from Donnie's Donuts. Good
Hi.
presentation. First, I've got a couple questions and an observation. First question is, do you deliver to Plaza Drive in Halifax?
Yes.
My wife will be calling you. Second is, how many meals a week are you guys doing?
Currently, some of our best weeks, we're somewhere in the range of 350 meals. So we're still pretty small, still serving, just like I said, most of our business is right inside of our gym, and then we have a few deliveries in the area, and then a few corporate deliveries outside of Mormons.
And I would say that your personal stores are very good marketing. That's good marketing.
I was a little nervous to tell the personal story. I didn't have
Hey, Melissa, Michael Zaharias,
Hey,
Florida
Michael.
Virtual Entrepreneur Center. Great presentation, great story. Kudos to everything you've accomplished, being an accidental entrepreneur twice now. I've got a question and a comment. The question is, how do you handle folks that maybe have sensitivities to gluten, dairy? You come out with a menu, maybe the menu doesn't match what I want to eat, or because of those sensitivities, I can't eat it. So how do you deal with that?
Well, it's definitely a big thing, especially right now. And the people who come to this service thinking of diet food, or people who have some pretty specific dietary needs, it may not be for them. I really wanted this food to be for the average person. Gluten, however, I believe that everyone has some type of sensitivity to gluten, some more than others. So gluten is one of those harmful substances that we are trying to completely remove from our food. However, we have found that there is often on our menu, at least once a week, usually there is a sandwich option. And we have not found a place where we're happy with a gluten-free sandwich. There's a few reasons for that, one of which gluten is, the purpose of gluten in food most of the time is to preserve and to protect longevity, especially in things like bread. If it's not there, these meals, our shelf life is 7 days. By the end of the week, those meals may not be the quality we're looking for. However, gluten is something we want to remove. Dairy is not one of our exclusions. If you go back to the prescription, let's go back here. The only exclusions that we see here are we are limiting starch, little starch, and no sugar. So our food will never have added sugar. It's our one big exclusion. And then from there, things that you don't see, more in-depth nutrition stuff that we're kind of paying attention to, things like gluten, things like dairy, things that are upsetting to the gut, those are on our radar. And the way that we're kind of combating that right now is changing the information on the website so that you can see that some of these just by default are gluten-free. Dairy is something that we're not really very focused on, so you might not find very many dairy-free options, but there are some there. So I think we're really just kind of focusing on letting people know a little bit more about what's in the food so that they can make the right choices for themselves if they have a little bit more knowledge on what works for them and what doesn't.
Thank you for that answer. My recommendation for you is if other gyms have members who are falling short on the nutrition piece, is it possible that your cooler could be in their location if there's not currently a cooler with the food for the individual to take as they're leaving the door?
Yes, and that makes a ton of sense. And I have been visited all of the CrossFit gyms because I have fairly good knowledge of them. The one thing that I did find though with that is that because I am the owner of my CrossFit gym, while CrossFits are a very friendly community and we're supposed to, really get along and we have the same common bond, we are still business competitors. And I think that possibly that may be what might be holding me back from getting my product into other CrossFit gyms. I think it's just going to take a little bit of time. I haven't given up on it, but I have not had much success with that, believe it or not.
Are you limited though to only CrossFit gyms?
Yeah. No.
Because
No,
there are a lot of other gyms that are promoting healthy living and
Yes.
falling short of nutrition. So for distribution, they can go ahead. Sorry, I don't know.
The grab and go fridge actually came from Gold's Gym. Gold's Gym had tried this in their gym a few times to have a healthy grab and go option for food in their refrigerator, and they were hiring other local meal prep or catering companies to fill that refrigerator. When I noticed that it wasn't working out for them, I offered our services to Gold's Gym, which is actually right up the street from us. And it did never really come to fruition, so I ended up buying their fridge. Funny story, I pushed it from their place to mine. So we are definitely still interested in how do we have a bigger presence in the other gyms around town. Still exploring that, yeah, for sure.
Go ahead, Ron.
Hi, I'm Ron Weiss-Sakarski with the Wise Home Team Realty. I got a really short comment and then a question for you. I was back in the restaurant and sports bar business many years ago, and what I learned was once I got it off the ground, I needed help, and quite often the help was really a lot closer to me than I realized it was there. And you mentioned sedentary lifestyle that people might be attracted to CrossFit. And I'm wondering, among your community, have you ever just reached out and asked if anybody was a blogger or a videographer, which would be by their nature a bit sedentary? Has anybody ever been involved with such as a place like perhaps pizza delivery? Because there's probably resources that are taking advantage of healthier lifestyles that actually could move the ball forward without you having to move it with them. And they're probably happy to do it, probably for a meal here or just kind of membership, because they're getting so much out of this. I think you'd be happy to participate. That guy right there? I think
20 pounds we can work on.
I gotta believe you have more resources available would work for very little to help move the ball forward so that your place thrives, so it'll be there for them for the lifetime. So I'll be quiet now, I'm just going to listen. So how would you do it?
So you must understand having no capital. Yeah, we definitely do a lot of that, a lot of networking, especially with the people inside the gym. As you can see, I rarely will hire or ask for help outside of that little community. I'm really aware of the integrity and the drive that these people have because I see it every day. And so definitely that's the first place that I always go for help, for sure. Thanks.
Pedro-PFS Investments. I think your story and your companies are a really good fit. You have lots of great social media marketers here for an Instagram type story. And you can sell the gym, the actual workout and body changes and pair that in with the food. So it's all one common story. So you can have subscriptions of not just delivery, but delivery plus the gym. And make that package that sells itself really well. I see that on Instagram. That would work real well for you. And one more comment. I mean, I understand that it's a mission, but you're still in business. I think you need to be very careful. If you're selling food which has a short shelf like a la carte, and then you start expanding area, you could very easily become a very unprofitable delivery service. So I think you need to be really careful of that.
Yes, thank you.
Delivery is a giant hole in the road you drive your car.
I feel like I'm finding that out very quickly. Finding that out very quickly, so that's definitely something that I'm interested in everyone's experience and warnings on, for sure. I can see how that would be a very a very quick way to death on it for sure.
Hi, Susie Haynes, Magic Possibilities. And I have a quick question that was prompted by the dairy question. Are your ingredients organic?
No, not currently.
Not even your dairy?
No.
That's too bad.
It is. Yeah, it's working toward always, especially for dairy. Yeah, my experience with CrossFit is to start where you are and to do with, and in business actually, take what you have and build upon that. It is 100% a big idea and plan for us to always be moving in the direction of more sustainable everything. We want to pay attention to our packaging. We want to pay attention to our food sources. We want to pay attention to who we're buying from. That's the other thing that I'm hoping to find in the near future are local and better sources of finding these foods, for sure. Right, yeah, the pricing for the better food options definitely changes the entire structure, but it's definitely on our radar.
Hi, I'm Kevin Manley, Florida Venture Catalyst. I did try CrossFit about 8 years ago. My herniated disc in my neck didn't like it. Maybe you could help me out with that, finding some better exercises. And I did try a meal plan about 17 years ago back when the food sucked. So as yours looked much better. What kind of struck me when I was watching the presentation, you're talking about serving a lot of different types of people, so the older gentleman, the younger girl, your story, 60-pound overweight mother, and I hear words like create kind of an average meal. There's a temptation probably in CrossFit to say it's for everybody. Everybody can do CrossFit, and think your market is so huge and everybody's a potential CrossFit person, and they are. But if you really had to pick two, so you had to pick two personas, really, what would those be? What would be the people you really think, is it the 60-pound mom that's 60 pounds to lose? Who are the two that you'd say, if I were really doing a marketing campaign, I would target these two people?
I probably need a lot more time to think about it, because I think I spent a lot of time trying to make sure that I could explain to everyone. And it usually takes them coming to me, people like you who have been maybe had a bad experience. But I do believe it is for everyone, 100%. If I can teach Jack, 91 years old, how to move properly without injuring him and to make him feel better, I know that I can make you feel better.
I'm more saying the marketing strategy that you really can't
right,
for
for a
everybody.
marketing strategy. I don't know. I kind of look at what CrossFit as, CrossFit, I pay a small amount of money for a huge amount of help from the company CrossFit. And their direction is 100% this is for everyone. That this is they really want this to be a shift in society. They're actually using their influence, Greg Glasgow's using an influence on the food, legislative level for food changes, for food and exercise changes. I want to follow that. I want to continue to help feed that here locally. So everybody. Marketing-wise, you're right, that it probably would help a lot. And that's maybe what I need to do is find someone who understands marketing better than I do and isn't trying to be blind to who I can possibly help more than others.
Yeah, not change the overall message, but as far as what you're targeting here, what is the low-hanging fruit.
Some focus definitely is a good suggestion.
Dr. Villa, Vesca LLC, Human Centered Design. Thanks, Melissa. Like your story. I can't find your story on your website though. And so I think there's a story gap in that sense, that there's clients that you could be reaching that you can't reach because they don't know the female side of things, right? There's a male story on your site, but there's no female story. So maybe the product's not for them.
Are we speaking about the Chef RX site?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And I was looking at your Google listing, and you guys are closed today. Why are you guys closed?
So Google and website stuff, I think, is where we're headed with this. I am currently in the middle of changing over both websites in big ways. And if you're a website person, obviously you know exactly why. The website is not easy to understand in any way for either business, in my opinion. The stories, however, are there on the EOB website, right? EOB CrossFit website. The stories that you might be looking for are there. It's the melting of the two together that I'm working on and Google is not my favorite thing. This is where I'm actually looking to hire first. Delegating marketing and web things, I've realized while I can figure stuff out, it takes me a few days when it would take somebody 2 seconds. So that's where I'm headed with that.
I feel that if you opened up the Google site, that you could draw in more clientele on a daily basis. I don't know though, I thought I caught that meal preparation was Monday, or ordering was a Monday through Wednesday thing, and then service was provided, I'm guessing, over the weekend, and the meals are distributed Monday.
Yes.
Okay. I just feel that it would probably open up your market a little bit if Google was reflective of the status quo. Meaning, you're in operation today, the gym is open, the prescription site, whatever, you're open for business, but it's not reflecting that. So for some of your lunchtime clientele, it could appear as though that isn't an option available to them.
So cohesiveness and the idea of what's happening on Google. I guess I set the hours on the pickup window hours so that people aren't showing up unannounced and going, what is this? Where are we? But great to think about for sure. I'm hoping that this hiring some help with the website and Google, things like SEO and things like that, I'm hoping that that will be taken care of by that. But thank you.
Okay, I've been told I get the last question. Great presentation, Melissa. My question is, you mentioned that you didn't have any prior business experience. You might have mentioned this, but what were you doing before? What skills did you take with you into this new venture, these 2 new ventures, and what skills have you acquired along the way?
I'm really glad you asked. That lack of accomplishment likely came because I was in college for 7 years without a degree, but I use absolutely everything that I learned. I was first a graphic design major, so I had a lot of experience with advertising, things like that, and reaching people, and then shifted into pre-med, pre-pharmacy. Believe it or not, I was going to push pills. Once I started working in that field, I worked at Walmart pharmacy, where I was faced with some of the sickest and most unhappy people I've ever met, and I quickly changed out of there, and this is where I ended. I also, over the course of some of that time, took some TV productions, things like that, so just photography, there's a lot of the stuff that I learned in college without ever getting a degree that eventually caused me to have all these random skills that work perfectly for what it is I'm doing. So yeah, pre-pharmacy was where I was going.
Great job.
All right, great job. Round of applause. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Yeah, wonderful job. We've got some goodies for you. Is coffee on the list?